Good evening, everyone. Today, we're not talking about just any ordinary pyramid. No, sir. We're diving deep into the Bent Pyramid in Dahshur. This isn't just a pile of stones. It's a complete saga of mystery and engineering that'll have you asking, how in the world did they pull this off back then? Get ready for an epic journey because what we're about to uncover will totally change how you think about the pharaohs. All right, folks, when you hear Dahshur, your mind probably jumps straight to those pyramids there, right? But the pyramid we're focusing on today, the Bent Pyramid, well, that's a whole different story. Located in the ancient Dahshur necropolis, about 25 miles south of Cairo, it's part of the Memphis Royal Burial Grounds. This isn't just a pyramid. It's a unique architectural marvel that tells the entire story of pyramid construction in ancient Egypt from start to finish. It dates back to around 2600 BC, during the Old Kingdom, making it one of the oldest known pyramids ever. So why is it called the Bent Pyramid? Simple. Because its angle of inclination dramatically changed mid-construction. That's a super weird feature that sets it apart from any other Egyptian pyramid. Imagine, this pyramid is considered an early example of true pyramids with smooth sides, and it was a monumental engineering feat for its time. Even stranger, it still retains a significant portion of its original polished white limestone casing. This pyramid literally gleamed in the sun back in the day. This offers a rare chance for us researchers and visitors to see what ancient Egyptian pyramids looked like when they were brand new. The Bent Pyramid's real significance lies in its role as a pivotal turning point in ancient Egyptian architecture. It was the bridge connecting the early stepped pyramids, like Djoser's at Saqqara, to the complete smooth-sided pyramids that reached their peak with the Giza pyramids we all marvel at. This structure isn't just a royal tomb, it's a stone document recording the phases of experimentation and learning that ancient Egyptian builders went through. You could say the Bent Pyramid was a living laboratory for ancient Egyptian engineering. When we find so many sources calling it a transitional phase and an architectural experiment, it confirms that this wasn't just some random design change. Instead, it points to a deliberate, systematic process of trial and error where ancient engineers were learning and adapting on an unprecedented scale. The bend that defines the pyramid, which might sometimes be seen as a flaw, is actually the deepest evidence of this dynamic process of learning and adaptation. It's a physical record showing how engineers faced unexpected challenges during construction and how they innovated immediate solutions to ensure the structure's stability. This elevates the Bent Pyramid from merely being a tomb to being a living historical document of architectural innovation. This understanding challenges the simplistic view of ancient Egyptian construction as a static, perfected art from the beginning. Instead, it reveals a dynamic and iterative process of engineering development where even apparent failures like the collapse of the Medum Pyramid directly led to later successes like the Red Pyramid. This highlights the ingenuity and adaptability of ancient Egyptian civilization, pushing our understanding beyond mere facts to an appreciation of how they achieved their monumental feats. The Bent Pyramid was built during the reign of Pharaoh Sneferu, considered the founder of the 4th dynasty of ancient Egypt. Sneferu's got a story all his own. This guy is credited with building a number of massive pyramids, including the Medum Pyramid, our Bent Pyramid, and even the Red Pyramid. So basically, Sneferu was the pyramid king of his time, probably the most prolific pyramid builder in Egyptian history. Sneferu wasn't just a powerful ruler. He was a pivotal figure in Egyptian history, famous for his grand architectural achievements, military campaigns, and expanding Egypt's trade influence. The Bent Pyramid was Sneferu's second attempt to build a true smooth-sided pyramid. This attempt came after his first experience with the Medum Pyramid, which suffered instability and collapsed, providing crucial lessons for subsequent building projects. Engineers learned from this experience in building the Red Pyramid, which was constructed immediately after the Bent Pyramid. They applied the lessons learned and built it entirely with a consistent 43-degree angle of inclination, making it the first successful true pyramid with smooth sides in history. Sneferu's pyramids represent a crucial step in the development of pyramid building techniques. They illustrate the gradual evolution of engineering and architectural knowledge that culminated in the construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza by his son Khufu. Sneferu's reign wasn't just a period of construction, it was an era of systematic architectural innovation unlike any other. We can consider Sneferu the master innovator of pyramid building. The sheer number of pyramids attributed to him, coupled with the explicit mention of experimentation and a learning process that characterized his projects, elevates his status far beyond that of merely a builder. He was a visionary who systematically pushed the boundaries of architecture. The Bent Pyramid is a direct result of this iterative design process, where lessons learned from one project, the Meidum collapse, were immediately applied to the next, the Bent Pyramid. This reframes Sneferu's reign as a period of intense research and development in ancient Egyptian construction. It points to a pragmatic approach to monumental architecture, where even apparent failures like the Bent Pyramid's angle change were valuable data points for future success. This understanding is essential for appreciating the sophisticated nature of ancient Egyptian engineering, illustrating that it was not static, but constantly evolving. Furthermore, the construction of several massive pyramids within a single reign demonstrates extraordinary economic and administrative capacity. This isn't just about architectural genius, it's about the state's ability to command a huge workforce, acquire materials from distant locations, and sustain long-term, high-cost projects. Sneferu's pyramid projects weren't just architectural achievements, they were also massive government undertakings that likely generated significant economic activity and reinforced the pharaoh's absolute authority and the state's administrative capabilities. The scale of these projects point to a highly organized society capable of complex logistics and resource management, paving the way for even grander projects like the Great Pyramid built by his son Khufu. The Bent Pyramid was primarily built to be a royal tomb for Pharaoh Sneferu. Its purpose was to house his remains and serve as his final resting place on his journey to the afterlife. But folks, there's a mystery here. Was Sneferu actually buried in the Bent Pyramid, especially given the structural issues it faced? Some scholars believe he might have been interred in the nearby Red Pyramid, which is considered the first truly successful pyramid. The Bent Pyramid represents a crucial transitional phase in the evolution of Egyptian funerary architecture. It embodies the shift from the older mastabas and stepped pyramids, like Djoser's pyramid, to the true smooth-sided pyramids. This pyramid was the first ambitious attempt to build a complete, smooth-sided pyramid, highlighting the engineering innovation during Sneferu's reign. The purpose of pyramid construction went beyond merely being tombs. They held deep spiritual and religious significance. They were considered stairways to the gods, designed to facilitate the ascent of the deceased spirit to the afterlife. The smooth sides, though not fully achieved in the Bent Pyramid, aimed to represent the sun's rays, symbolizing a connection to sun worship and the god Ra. The pyramid's design and its complex reflect the evolving religious ideologies of that era. Additionally, it's believed that the small satellite pyramid, located south of the main pyramid, may have housed the king's Ka statue, the king's symbolic vital spirit, or perhaps his viscera, emphasizing the complexity of ancient Egyptian funerary practices. The interplay between practical engineering and evolving religious beliefs in the construction of the Bent Pyramid is clearly evident. The transition from stepped pyramids to smooth-sided pyramids isn't purely architectural, it's deeply intertwined with changing religious concepts. The idea of a stairway to the gods, represented by the stepped pyramid, transitioning to the concept of sun's rays, represented by the smooth pyramid, reflects a fundamental ideological shift in understanding the pharaoh's journey after life and his connection to the divine. The Bent Pyramid, with its hybrid form combining early and later features, literally embodies this transition. This suggests that architectural innovations in ancient Egypt weren't purely utilitarian, but were profoundly influenced by, and in turn influenced, the prevailing religious and cosmological beliefs. The bent shape can be interpreted not just as an engineering fix, but as a tangible record of a historical moment when theological concepts about the afterlife were shifting or being reinterpreted. What's more, the ambiguity surrounding the royal burial in the Bent Pyramid, the fact that Sneferu's burial there is unclear, and that he might have been buried in the Red Pyramid, raises questions about the Bent Pyramid's ultimate success as a funerary monument. If its primary purpose was burial, its abandonment, or perceived abandonment, in favor of the Red Pyramid suggests a significant reevaluation of its suitability. This highlights the dynamic nature of ancient Egyptian royal practices. Even for a powerful pharaoh like Sneferu, practical considerations, such as structural stability, could override initial grand designs. It also underscores the challenge modern Egyptologists face in determining definitively the ultimate purpose and use of ancient structures, as they often rely on circumstantial evidence and the interpretation of evolving practices over time. Architectural design and unique engineering, the story of the amazing bend. The Bent Pyramid boasts a unique architectural design that makes it an icon in pyramid building history. The engineering description of the Bent Pyramid explains why it got its name. The lower half of the pyramid rises at a steep angle of 54 to 55 degrees. Then, the upper half, above a height of about 47 to 49 meters, or 154 to 161 feet, transitions to a less steep angle of 43 degrees. This sudden change in angle gives the pyramid its distinctive bent appearance. So, why this bend? There are many theories, and they're all puzzling. Structural instability. The most accepted theory is that the initial steep angle caused signs of instability or cracks during construction, forcing builders to adopt a shallower angle to prevent the structure from collapsing. Medium pyramid collapse. Egyptologist Kurt Mendelsohn suggested in 1974 that the change was a direct reaction to the catastrophic collapse of the Medium Pyramid while it was still under construction. The Egyptians learned their lesson and modified the Bent Pyramid's design to avoid a similar fate. Ramp limitations. Recent conclusions suggest that the engineering aspects and feasibility of the ramp structures used to lift the blocks might have been a decisive factor. Maintaining a low ramp incline becomes increasingly difficult with increasing height, making steeper ramps impractical with traditional ramp systems at higher elevations. The pharaoh's impending death. Some older theories, now less prevalent, suggested the change was due to the pharaoh's impending death, necessitating a quicker completion of the pyramid, thus changing the angle to speed up construction. But honestly, this one's not very strong. Religious or symbolic transition. Other theories propose that the bend was a deliberate design choice, reflecting a shift in religious beliefs or a symbolic transition. Some argue it was intended to achieve proper astronomical alignment for Sneferu's sun worship. Talk about brilliant thinking. The Bent Pyramid is unique because it has two entrances. One is on the north side, about 12 meters 39 feet above ground level, and the other is on the west side at an unusual height of 30 meters 98 feet above the base. Each of these entrances leads to a separate set of passages and chambers, which were originally connected by a roughly hewn tunnel believed to have been cut later. The north entrance leads to an antechamber with a corbelled ceiling and a burial chamber above it, both located within the natural bedrock itself. The west entrance, however, leads to a level passage with a complex blocking system, sliding portcullises, and an upper burial chamber, all within the pyramid's masonry. It's important to note, the burial chamber at the north entrance is below ground level, while the west entrance's chamber is higher up, inside the pyramid. The pyramid's internal structure features passages and chambers with corbelled ceilings. Original cedarwood beams were found in the upper chamber, which some researchers have interpreted as structural supports to address stability issues, while others believe they were part of the funerary burial structure. The Bent Pyramid is an integral part of a larger, more comprehensive funerary complex. This complex includes a smaller satellite pyramid known as the Cult Pyramid of the Ka, located south of the main pyramid. This satellite pyramid is thought to have been dedicated to the king's Ka statue, the symbolic vital spirit, or perhaps contained the king's internal organs. The complex also features a mortuary temple, a valley temple, and a causeway connecting them. The Bent Pyramid's Valley Temple is the earliest decorated pyramid temple, and fragments of its relief carvings, statues, and stelae bearing Sneferu's name have been found there. The entire complex is surrounded by a large limestone enclosure wall, 1,645 meters, 5,397 feet long, and 11 meters, 36 feet high. Relief carvings on the walls of the Valley Temple depict Pharaoh Sneferu, accompanied by gods and performing religious rituals, providing invaluable information about royal beliefs and practices of that era. Stone stelae inscribed with Sneferu's name were also found near the chapel. Furthermore, fragments of clay seals bearing the names of 5th dynasty rulers were discovered in a refuse dump east of the Valley Temple, suggesting the area's continued use or importance beyond Sneferu's reign. The presence of the Bent Pyramid's dual entrances is seen as evidence of evolving security and beliefs. Having two distinct entrances leading to separate internal systems with a connecting tunnel believed to have been cut later suggests that the engineers might have been experimenting with different ways to secure the tomb against robbers. In ancient times, tomb robbery was a constant challenge, and these multiple entrances, along with a complex blocking system, sliding portcullises, in the western entrance, could have been part of a sophisticated strategy to protect the pyramid's contents. Additionally, these dual entrances might reflect an evolution in religious beliefs, perhaps being used for different ritual purposes or as symbolic paths for the king's journey after death. This atypical design demonstrates flexibility and adaptability in ancient Egyptian architectural thought. They weren't adhering to a single rigid model, but were experimenting and adjusting based on practical experience and changing religious requirements. Construction techniques and materials used, how did they build such grandeur? Seriously, folks, the construction techniques and materials used in the Bent Pyramid are a testament to the ingenuity of ancient Egyptian engineering, showing remarkable progress compared to earlier structures. To build this pyramid, immense quantities of stone were needed from various quarries. Local limestone, extracted from the Dahshur plateau itself, was used for the pyramid's core. As for the outer casing, which gave the pyramid its gleaming white appearance, that was made from high-quality limestone quarried from Tura, near modern-day Cairo, on the east bank of the Nile River. This means transporting these massive blocks required crossing the Nile, indicating the use of boats and barges for this purpose. Granite, quarried from distant Aswan, about 900 kilometers or 560 miles south of Giza, was also used for some internal architectural elements, such as the burial chambers and their doorways. The process of transporting these colossal stones was a massive logistical achievement. Generally accepted theories suggest the use of wooden sledges to drag the stone blocks up ramps or over prepared roadways, which might have been lubricated with water or clay to reduce friction. Ancient reliefs show men pulling huge statues on sledges, confirming the effectiveness of this method. Recent studies indicate that ancient Egyptians might have used ancient branches of the Nile River and water channels to transport heavy materials to construction sites. The techniques for lifting these massive stone blocks to the pyramid's heights are among the most debated aspects in pyramid studies. Ramps are believed to have been the most common method for lifting blocks. However, theories vary on the types of ramps used: straight, zigzag, or spiral ramps. In the case of the Bent Pyramid, the change in the angle of inclination suggests that engineers faced difficulties in maintaining the original steep angle using the ramp systems available to them. This change might have resulted from realizing that the ramps required for a 54-degree angle would become impractical or dangerous as the height increased. In addition to ramps, it's believed that levering techniques were supplementary to the construction process. The Greek historian Herodotus mentioned that the Egyptians used machines made of short timbers to lift stones. But get this, something super exciting has emerged recently. Recent studies have suggested the possibility of a hydraulic lifting system being used in the construction of the Bent Pyramid. This theory posits that a complex system of dams and channels directed pressurized water to a well at the construction site, creating a hydraulic lift capable of raising huge stones. If confirmed, this discovery would radically change our understanding of ancient Egyptian technological advancements. Imagine that! The study of building materials in the Bent Pyramid shows an evolution in construction techniques. While earlier pyramids were built with inwardly sloping courses, the Bent Pyramid featured a transition in how the stones were laid. The lower part was built with sloping courses, but the stones in the upper part were laid horizontally, providing greater stability. This change reflects a continuous process of learning and adaptation on site. The construction process of the Bent Pyramid demonstrates a practical evolution of building techniques through trial and error. The transition from sloping courses to horizontal courses in the Bent Pyramid, along with the change in the angle of inclination, isn't just an architectural detail. It's a tangible record of an adaptive engineering process. The engineers faced unexpected challenges, such as structural instability or limitations of lifting systems, and they responded with immediate adjustments in design and construction methods. This suggests that ancient Egyptian construction didn't follow a rigid, unchangeable plan, but rather was characterized by flexibility and the ability to solve problems on site. This understanding enhances our appreciation for the ingenuity of ancient engineers and their capacity for innovation, making the Bent Pyramid a living case study in the history of engineering. Despite advances in our understanding, there remains a continuous challenge in fully comprehending ancient techniques. Despite archaeological evidence and engineering theories, many aspects of pyramid construction, including the Bent Pyramid, remain subjects of debate. For example, while studies suggest the use of hydraulic systems, their complete details and precise tools are still not fully understood. This ongoing mystery highlights the ingenuity of ancient Egyptians in accomplishing massive and complex structures with tools and techniques that seem simple by today's standards. It also underscores that archaeological and engineering research is still uncovering new dimensions of these ancient achievements, reminding us that history still holds many secrets waiting to be revealed. The Bent Pyramid, like many ancient monuments, has been exposed to natural and human factors of deterioration over thousands of years, necessitating extensive restoration efforts to preserve it. Causes of deterioration: wind, earthquakes, and mudstone. Many factors have negatively impacted the Bent Pyramid. Desert winds and weathering. Harsh desert winds and other weathering agents, like temperature fluctuations, cause the pyramid's polished external casing to erode over time. Moisture and mudstone taffel impact. Some experts point out that the presence of taffel veins, a type of clay-rich mudstone, in the pyramid increases the risk of deterioration due to its high capacity to absorb and lose water, leading to fluctuations in its volume and weakening the overall structural integrity of the pyramid. Seismic activity. Egyptian pyramids have been affected by earthquakes throughout history. While the Bent Pyramid isn't directly mentioned in some available sources as being damaged by the 1992 earthquake, the older Djoser's Step Pyramid in Saqqara was severely affected by that earthquake, indicating the region's susceptibility to seismic activity. Studies show that pyramids in Dahshur, including the nearby Red Pyramid, suffered structural damage from previous earthquakes, including the 1992 Dahshur earthquake, leading to cracks and material deterioration. Ancient robberies. It's believed that tomb robbers plundered the contents of the Bent Pyramid in ancient times, although remnants of the granite sarcophagus remain deep within the pyramid's base. Original construction problems. The change in the angle of inclination during construction, which led to its bent shape, is itself evidence of structural problems that emerged during execution. This includes potential issues with the pyramid's foundations or the instability of the internal stone blocks. Modern human impact.
General studies on the Giza pyramids indicate that rising groundwater levels due to leakage from urban irrigation canals and urban expansion threaten the stability of the monuments. Industrial activities like oil exploration and blasting can also affect seismic activity and the deterioration of structures.
After a long period of closure, the Bent Pyramid underwent extensive restoration and development, and it was finally opened to the public in July 2019. These restoration works lasted for several years, having begun in August 2018. The restoration efforts included many crucial aspects: reinforcement of external facades, loose stones were stabilized, and fallen stones were returned to their original positions. Restoration of internal passages and burial chamber. This involved meticulous restoration, preparation, and cleaning of all internal passages of the pyramid, as well as the restoration of the burial chamber itself. Improvement of visitor infrastructure. Internal and external staircases and walkways were installed to facilitate visitor movement inside the pyramid. A modern lighting system. A state-of-the-art lighting system was installed inside and outside the pyramid to enhance the visitor experience. Non-invasive exploration. Modern, non-invasive techniques such as ground-penetrating radar and 3D scanning were used to explore the internal structure without causing damage, with the aim of uncovering more details about the construction process and the purpose of specific features. These restoration efforts highlight the delicate balance between preserving authenticity and structural necessity. While restoration aims to return the pyramid to its original state as much as possible, it must also address inherent structural weaknesses resulting from original construction flaws or natural deterioration. This requires a meticulous approach that combines archaeological knowledge with modern engineering to ensure the structure's long-term stability without compromising its historical value. These efforts also demonstrate the importance of modern technologies in heritage preservation. By using tools like 3D scanning and ground-penetrating radar, researchers can better understand the pyramid's internal structure and identify weak areas without destructive interventions. These technologies not only help preserve the Bent Pyramid, but also provide models and methods that can be applied to other archaeological sites worldwide, enhancing our ability to protect our shared human heritage.
The Bent Pyramid is a masterpiece that combines apparent secrets evident in its unique architectural design with hidden mysteries that continue to baffle scientists, along with stories and myths woven around it by popular imagination.
The bent shape. The bent shape of the pyramid itself is an obvious architectural and engineering enigma. It raises questions about the exact reasons behind this radical change in the angle of inclination during construction. It reflects a clear experimental process in pyramid design. Dual entrances. The pyramid has two entrances, one northern and one western, which is atypical for most Egyptian pyramids. This design raises questions about the purpose of each entrance and whether one was an alternative due to structural issues or for ritualistic reasons. Corbelled ceilings. The interior chambers feature corbelled ceilings, an advanced architectural technique for that time. Cedar wood beams. Original cedar wood beams were found in the upper chamber, interpreted differently as structural supports or as part of the funerary burial structure. Satellite pyramid and valley temple. The small satellite pyramid, the cult pyramid of the Ka, and the decorated valley temple are part of the apparent secrets, providing information about funerary practices and religious rituals in Sneferu's era.
The precise reason for the bend. Despite multiple theories explaining the reason for the bend, such as structural instability or learning from the Medum Pyramid, the exact cause and final impetus for this sudden design change remain a subject of debate among Egyptologists. The function of the vertical chimney. There's mention of a vertical shaft, 15 meters, 49 feet deep, inside the pyramid, sometimes called the chimney, which contains a special architectural feature. This shaft has not been fully photographed or examined to understand its design purpose. Undiscovered chambers and passages. Despite numerous discoveries, the Saqqara and Dahshur area still hides many secrets beneath the sand. It's believed that the Bent Pyramid, which wasn't fully explored in modern times until recently, may contain more undiscovered or fully understood passages or chambers. Sneferu's final burial place. As mentioned earlier, Sneferu's final burial place remains uncertain, leaving a mystery about the actual use of the Bent Pyramid as a tomb. Techniques for transporting and lifting massive granite blocks. Despite theories about ramps and levers, scientists still question how massive granite blocks weighing tens of tons were transported and lifted with such precision into the pyramid.
Egyptian pyramids, including the Bent Pyramid, are surrounded by many popular myths and tales that add to their mystery and allure. Pyramid construction by slaves or aliens. A common myth is the idea that the pyramids were built by slaves, or even by extraterrestrial beings, although modern archaeological evidence suggests that pyramid builders were skilled Egyptian laborers. The curse of the pharaohs. This famous myth suggests that opening an ancient tomb or pyramid could lead to a tragic fate. And by the way, this has no scientific basis, but people still tell it. Connection to stars and energy? Some theories propose that the pyramids were precisely built to align with the constellation Orion, and that they might have functions related to energy or healing. There are tales of plants growing faster inside pyramids, or water turning into cosmetics when left within them. Now that's wild. Local Dahshur stories. Although sources don't offer unique, specific popular stories about the Bent Pyramid itself, the Dahshur area as a whole is known as an archaeological site rich in secrets and mysteries, feeding popular imagination about its hidden treasures. The interaction between archaeological reality and popular interpretation shows how gaps in archaeological knowledge are often filled by popular imagination, leading to the emergence of myths and alternative theories. In the absence of complete and confirmed explanations for some phenomena, people turn to narratives that satisfy their curiosity and lend a legendary character to these ancient structures. This doesn't diminish the pyramid's importance, rather it enhances its status as a cultural icon that transcends its original function. The enduring mystery of the Bent Pyramid, whether stemming from genuine engineering challenges or still unrevealed secrets, contributes to its continuous appeal and makes it a subject of curiosity and speculation across the ages. It reminds us that history isn't just dry facts, but also a rich tapestry of interpretations and narratives that shape our understanding of the past.
In the end, everyone, the Bent Pyramid in Dahshur is an extraordinary architectural monument. Its role isn't just that of a royal tomb for Pharaoh Sneferu. It extends to being a living record of the evolution of ancient Egyptian architecture. This pyramid was like a massive laboratory where ancient Egyptian engineers demonstrated an exceptional ability to experiment, learn, and adapt to unexpected structural challenges. This led to its unique shape, which embodies a crucial transitional phase from stepped pyramids to smooth-sided pyramids. Sneferu's reign, which saw the construction of the Bent Pyramid, represents the pinnacle of pyramid building innovation, supported by immense administrative and economic capabilities that allowed for the mobilization of resources and the execution of colossal projects. The Bent Pyramid also reflects the deep interaction between engineering advancements and evolving religious beliefs about the afterlife and the pharaoh's role. Despite thousands of years passing, the Bent Pyramid still holds many secrets, both apparent in the complexities of its design and its internal and external components, and hidden in aspects of its construction that remain debated. Added to this are the popular stories and myths that enrich the cultural narrative surrounding this magnificent structure. Modern restoration efforts are contributing to the preservation of this precious legacy, using advanced techniques to ensure its stability while maintaining its historical authenticity. The Bent Pyramid, as part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site, remains a testament to the ingenuity of ancient Egyptian civilization and a constant source of curiosity and research, affirming its status as an immortal icon in human history. So, what do you think of this story? Did you know all these secrets about the Bent Pyramid? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so we can reach more people and uncover new secrets together.
I'll see you in a new video and a new story. Peace out.